Welcome again. In this video, I'm going to show how to secure the VICIdial if the VICIdial server is on public IP. So if your server is on public IP, it's always have the risk that it will be attacked by the hackers and all. It will be on a risk. How you can secure it properly. So to demonstrate, I'm going to install a VICIdial over here. So I have created a virtual machine over here. I'm going to use this. So let me just select the file. I'm using the VICIdial 10 to demonstrate this. So let me turn on. Okay. So first of all, we are going to install the VICIdial. So as we can see over here, we are going the boot option is appeared. We are going to install from the VCBox 10 and then enter. Okay. So we are going to click on yes. It will load the VCBox on the hard drive. So we are going to log in. The default login user is root. The default password will be VICIdial. Okay. Now we are going to select the system language, keyboard layout. This is the license agreement. This is the time zone. You have to make sure that the time zone is correct. So I'm going to select the preferable time zone for me. Okay. Now enter the root password. So this is the password for the root user. You will require it for further login on your server using the SSH. So enter a password and make sure it's strong one. I'm using a simplistic password for this demonstration, but make sure you are using a strong one if you are using on a production system. Over here, I can see it's saying that bad password because I used a simplistic password. Now it's doing the housekeeping after it's installed the operating system on the hard drive. Okay, so the operating system is now installed. Now we are going to assign an IP address to the server. So to assign an IP address, we are going to type yes LAN and then hit enter. Now we are going to edit this Ethernet card that we have. So click on the edit. You can use the tab button to move around this option like this. Okay. Again, use the tab button and select this by using the space key. Okay, static assigned IP address. Now you have to enter the IP address that you want to assign to the server. Now we are going to assign the DNS and host name. So over here you can put the host name for the server. So I'm going to use this. as my host name, and this is the DNS. I'm going to use the Google DNS, but you can use your own if you have. Then it's going to ask you that the host name on the Ethernet static IP address is not the same that we are using over here. So would you like to change it? So you have to click yes, and then on the routing section, click on the add, go to this gateway and enter your gateway address. Select the device. If you have multiple Ethernet card, then you have to select which one you are going to use these settings for. Once it's selected, click on the OK. It will write this information on the NIC card. Okay, so IP address is now assigned. We are going to check if our server has internet access. I'm going to ping Google to check. We are getting the replies, so that means that our system is connected to the internet. Now you can download the updates if you like by typing. It will download the updated repositories. Okay, so the updates are now installed. You can reboot the server once. We have to remove the ISO file that we have selected earlier and then restart. Okay, so we are going to log in again using the root and the password that you have set. So the next step will be to install the VCBox services. So this is a single server, so I'm going to use the express mode. If you are going to use cluster, then you are most probably have to use the VCBox install. So let's type VCBox Express. This is for the express mode. Do you want to continue with the VCBox Express install? Select Y and then hit enter. It will install this VCBox services to this particular server. The reason I'm using the VICIdial 10.0.2 version is I personally find this particular version very stable, and many of my customers are using this version on their live servers. It's very stable and I did not face much issues with this version. So our VCBox services are now installed on this server. We are going to reboot the server one more time. Let's log in. Okay, so our VC dial server is now ready and it's installed. So we are going to try to open the GUI. The server IP should be this, but as you can see, the particular web application Apache, it's not working. That's why we are not getting the GUI. This is a bug actually that still available on the SVN that are coming in 10.0.2. So we are going to fix it. So this is the server. This is the IP address, as you can see, 1.10. So for my convenience, I'm going to use another SSH shell over here, and I will log in to that server. Okay, so as you can see, I have logged in. This particular issue is coming because the Apache probably it's not running. So if I try to check, you can see the Apache is failed, it's not active. So how are you gonna fix it? Come to this particular path. Over here we will find some files with a extension of .old. You can see this is the file name. Okay, 111-default conf.old. This particular thing should not be visible over here, so we have to fix this thing. So first of all, we are going to open this particular file. So let's open this file. This is the issue. This is the line that we are going to remove from here. And then save and exit. We are going to do the same thing with this file also. Save the file and exit. Now we are going to restart the Apache. Okay, now let's check. Okay, as you can see, now the Apache is working, but there are some other issues that we have to fix first. So as I mentioned earlier, that this particular files we have to rename, otherwise it will cause more issues. So to fix that, what we are going to do, we are going to rename this file. So like this. Okay, so this particular files are renamed. Okay, the same issue we will find in another directory. So I'm going to change the directory, and then if we come to this particular directory conf.d, we will find some other files with the same issue with .old. This makes this file unreadable for the system, so it will cause issues. So we are going to fix this thing. Okay, so all the files are done. This one is not required, but if you want, you can do that. Okay, so now all the files are renamed as it should be, and our server over here is working properly. So let's log in. The default user will be 6666 and the password will be 1234. Now the first thing, it will ask you to continue with the initial setup. Over here it's going to ask you to change the password for the 666 user. So use a good password over here. For now I'm going to use a simplistic. This is the default phone registration password. Means when you are going to create a phone, okay, the default password will be this. So make sure you use a strong password over here. Like you can use some combinations of words and all, and it will give you a strength that the strength of the password is strong. So this is for the default phone login password. It will be test always, so make sure to change this at least to with some good characters. Okay, I'm just using some random characters over here to demonstrate, but use some good character password over here. Same thing for this is the default server password. Once it's done, submit. Now click on the report. Use the same password that you have entered to log in. You will be greeted with this, that you do not have any permission to view this page. So we are going to just click on the users and then click on the default user 666, which is the default admin user. If you scroll down, you have to allow these permissions. And then submit. Now we have permission to view the pages and all. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is open the SSH shell one more time. Now the server is installed. So first we are going to configure the firewall for this server, so only the particular or authorized people can access it. Along with that, we are going to configure the dynamic portal also. So now we are going to configure the firewall along with the dynamic portal, so only can authorized people can access this particular server. So first of all, you have to type this to allow the port number. So if you are going to use SSL over here, as you can see, right now we are not using any SSL. But if you are going to use SSL, then use this 446. It will allow the 446 port. And after that, make sure to allow this one also, 81. It will allow the dynamic portal to work on without SSL. Right now we are not using any SSL, so you have to make sure it's allowed. I have already allowed this port. Like if I type this, you can see already enabled. So you just have to use this particular command. I already created a separated video like how to configure the dynamic portal. If you wanted to see that particular video, I will mentioning that on the I button. You can have a look on that video also. So once it's done, we have to make sure that the ports are allowed. So okay, so now we are going to open the firewall. So type yes firewall. Once the firewall is open, we are going to make some changes. So come to the public. From here, we are going to remove all the unnecessary things that we don't want it to be allowed on the public port. So I'm going to remove all of this and I'm going to keep only the RTP for the RTP, for the RTP signal and the SSH so I can access it. So we are going to remove this. Okay, now it's removed. Then click accept. Once it's done, we are going to configure the dynamic portal. So type serv www. This is the file we are going to edit, default .inc.php. Once you open this file, let me open it through VI for a better visibility. Okay, so from here, what we are going to do, this is the particular option that we are going to remove. Right now it's X, means disable, otherwise set to the URL. Okay, so this is the minimum user level, means the agent access that we provide should be 5, means any agent who is any agent who have the permission level of 5 can use the dynamic portal. So we are going to make the changes from here. Remove this and we are going to type this. Again, this is a virtual machine server, so we are not going to use any HTTPS. Type the server IP or FQDN if you are using any. This is the URL. Means when the dynamic portal will identify your IP address, it will redirect you to this particular link. Do the same thing for the admin. Enter the server IP address. This is the redirection time, how much time it will take to redirect. I'm going to make it 2 seconds and then make this one and then save this file. Press escape, this one Q and W and Q to save and exit. Okay, the file is now saved. Okay, so our dynamic portal is configured. To make one more changes, we are going to make sure that the IP is being saved every time. So you are going to type cron tab, scroll down, make sure to disable this particular two. Now paste this. This will sync the VB firewall every 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 seconds. So once you paste this thing, you can just simply save this file again and exit. Okay, now it's done. Our dynamic portal is should be configured. So let's try it out. Okay, as you can see, we are unable to access this page again. If I try to reload, it's not working because we have configured the dynamic portal. This is the URL you have to type, and you can see this is the agent validation port, or we call dynamic portal. So put the agent ID. So I have only one ID available at the moment, which is like user level is more than 5. Once you enter the ID details, the IP address will be validated and it will be redirected to this page, the URL that we have entered. This is the URL you have entered. Now you can log in. You can create multiple user, and if you give them the user level more than 5, they can use the user ID and password to authenticate their IP on that particular dynamic portal page. Now the dynamic portal that we have configured, you can see over here on the dynamic list we have one entries because we have whitelisted one IP address. Now this particular IP address will be stored for 14 days by default, but I normally keep it for 7 days a week. So every week it will release the whitelisted IP address, and they have to, like whitelisted it again to access the server. So currently you can see this is my system IP address. Like if I open CMD and type, you can see this is my system IP address which is added over here. So whatever IP will be listed, they will be added over here through the dynamic portal. Now we are going to make sure that this particular IP address will be whitelisted only for 7 days, and after 7 days it will be released by the list. So type VI, then then type that, and if you scroll down, you will find an option over here. It says dynamic range. This particular section over here, you can see 14 number of days for dynamic IP address. We are going to change this to 7 and then press the escape and save the file. Okay, now the file is saved. Our dynamic portal is configured. Our firewall is set up. Now one more thing we are going to do is change the SSH port number. So as we know that the SSH by default use the port number 22, so we are going to change that. So by default, the SSH use the default 22 port, which is not a good idea because that particular port will be open. So any, like hackers or only unwanted people can try to access your server, which is not a good thing. So you are going to change it. So to do that, type nano vi, whatever tool if you like, you can use it. Config and enter. If you scroll down, you will find a port number over here. By default it's 22. I'm going to change it to a default port. Let's say 8670. You can use any port you like. Exit the file, save the file, enter. Once is enter, we're going to type again nano, and we have to allow that particular port on firewall also. So open this file, userleaf firewall d services ssh.xml. On this port section, we are going to change this particular port to the new port number. So you can see this is the secure cell SSH protocol for logging into the executing command remotely through a remote machine. Okay, so again save it. Now once it's done, we are going to type restart along with we're going to restart both of the services. Okay, now the services are reloaded and our SSH port is also changed. So if I try to check, you can see our new port number is 8670. Okay, so our port number is now changed and we are going to check if the port number is properly enabled or not. So type status. If you do that, it will show you the port number that you are running. That server is listening to port 8670. Okay, now we are going to check if it's working properly or not. So open putty and I'm going to put the server IP address with the same port. As you can see, same port. Open, it will not going to work. It will not going to connect because we have changed the port. Okay, so we are going to open another session from here and we are going to type slash the port number that we have changed and hit enter. Now you can see it's asking for the password. Enter the root password and hit enter, and we are inside of the server, same server. If I type, see, this is the server. So this is how you can secure your VICIdial on a public address. I normally use these steps. So if you this will help you to protect your server on public address. So if you are still watching this video and if you learned something from this, please like and subscribe my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day.